Open your text of The Hobbit to chapter 5, page 65 in this version here, page 68 if you have this version of The Hobbit. Join along with Miss Hightower as I share my thoughts. What am I thinking? Good readers not only read, but they interact with the text. So let's hear some of the questions that I had and reactions as I read about what's going on with the characters. On page 65. So immediately he's in the dark. I'm afraid of the dark. So I'm afraid darkness. We could talk about darkness and what it means for life, what it means for characters. Why is he in the dark? I see that he's alone. His tribe they've left him alone. Why is he by himself? This lets me know that the story is about him, and the camera is. When we started the story in chapter 1. It was on Bilbo. So I know this is a story about Bilbo. Okay. I noticed I did have a reaction when he was thinking about bacon and eggs. Yeah, as a vegan, I'm like, I have quite a few questions. Where does he get the bacon? Is this the author doing that? Why does he have? Maybe the eggs I get, but is there a store? Is there some farmer? Does he farm? Does he have pigs? Did I miss that? Also, why isn't he choosing to go home? He was left alone. He should just go home, right? He should go home. Also, when he finds the ring, what were you thinking when he found the ring? I know he found the ring because it's significant. And the author even mentioned it's so important that it could possibly change his career. On page 66, I found it disturbing in a book where, that's being taught in schools to read about tobacco. I had an aha moment about the dagger that he stole from the trolls. I knew it was going to come in handy. And why does he need a weapon? The author gave this to him because I know trouble is coming. He's going to need to defend himself, which is why he needs a weapon. The author mentions, on we go. Bilbo decides to just keep going. I'm like, no, that's not the only choice. Turn around. Why would you move on in the dark? Also, why has the author left him alone? This lets me know, as I mentioned before, he is the main creature. It's a story about anytime there's a journey, he's going on a journey. It's going to be about his transformation. It has to be about what he's going to learn about himself as he's going on this transformation. So if I thought anybody else, this story is about anybody else, it is not. I am now convinced he has a whole scene by himself in the dark. This is a story about Bilbo Baggins, and what are we going to learn about him? Who was he before he went on this journey, and who is he going to be at the end of this journey? So that's an observation. Anytime you're watching a movie or reading a book and the camera, I like to say the camera, the author's focus is on this one person, we know it's for a reason. On page 66, the author has to create a trait for the Hobbit that would explain why he can see or not. So when I was reading all Hobbits aren't like us. They can see in the dark. I'm like, you're just doing that to explain how he's able to keep moving down underground and telling how small they are. Why do we need to know their traits? Page 67. It says he's fearing goblins. Why aren't there any goblins present? Why aren't there? If he's in the dark, in this cave, why hasn't he encountered any goblins? It must be something else coming. Common sense, like he's not going to be in this scene for no reason. This scene has to push the story along. This is not about him being in a cave. What is going to happen in this cave that's significant, right? Okay, good. On page 68, Gollum, we meet Gollum, and I don't trust any creature that's living in the dark. And all that, he's hissing like a snake. Snakes are viewed as evil, so I already know we cannot trust this creature. Now, we know that Bilbo isn't going to stay in this cave. Okay, look at how much, this is chapter 5. Now look at how much we have to read. So apparently he isn't going to stay in this cave. So the whole time I'm thinking, how is he going to get out of this cave with Gollum? He's going to have to trick him or something in order to get out this cave, because the story is not about him meeting Gollum. Gollum is just a scene. He's one obstacle. What role does this see? This is what good readers are doing, and especially when you're in school and you're reading fiction. So we're not reading fiction for entertainment. We want to learn to love literature, but unfortunately, due to state testing, we have to be trained to think about what we're reading. So not just, oh, I'm reading a story about a hobbit. No, no. So obviously he's stuck in this cave. How is he going to get out of the cave? He's apparently Bilbo is going to beat Gollum to get out of the cave. So we just got to figure out why. You get it? Okay. Again, been with he's mentioned in the darkness. Darkness represents life. Like, what part of his life is dark? Why is this? Why does he have to come to this cave at this point in his life? On page 69, towards the end of the page, I like how they're both are saying the same thing. I wonder, if I don't answer this question, he's going to eat me. They both, I like that move the author made. He had Gollum have this thought, then Bilbo had the thought. That was clever, good writing. On page 70, what role do these riddles play? Why has the author chosen to write this scene of riddles? What information does it show the reader? What do we learn about Bilbo in this riddle scene? Is the author showing his intelligence, showing all these J.R.R. Tolkien? Ooh, look how smart I am with these riddles. So I think he's showing how smart Bilbo is, because Bilbo keeps solving these riddles. Why do we need to know that Bilbo is smart? How will his intelligence be needed? It's going to be needed. I'm positive of it. Page 71, Gollum mentions he's underground. Why is he underground? What happened in his life before? The reason why he moved underground. He mentioned ages and ages. Ages and ages. How old is Gollum? Well, is this how long does this creature live? How do you kill something like Gollum? Page 72, Bilbo's impatience. Apparently, he wants to get out of this cave. So he was like, come on now, hurry up and answer this question. So I knew he was getting impatient. He's annoyed with this game. I'm annoyed with this game. But he's playing it because he wants to live. He doesn't know if Gollum is about to kill him or not. He cannot trust this creature. Let me hurry up and play this riddle game so I can get out of this cave. Okay? I think the scene is too long about these riddles. And Gollum is in the boat. Remember, Bilbo's on the shore. Gollum came over, and it mentioned how cold and deadly the water is, deadly cold. So apparently Bilbo can't swim. He's going to have to get in this boat. This is what I'm guessing. On page 73, I predicted Bilbo was in a hurry, and the author mentions it. What are the odds he would guess the answer is time? He's like, time, I need more time, time. And that was the answer to the riddle. Real clever move, J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't buy it, but I understand you have to move the story along. You're an amazing writer. Great writer. You're so smart. The story, everything is falling into place. You've written this story so that every piece of the puzzle is going to get Bilbo back home. My question is, what are we going to learn about Bilbo on this journey? And what does he learn about himself? Page 74. I'm glad I'm not the only one tired of the game. So Bilbo mentions he's tired of the Gollum mentions he's tired of this game. Why did the author choose to shift the attention to the ring? So he was like, oh, guess what's in my pocket? So why do we need to focus on the ring? Okay, so obviously the author has to move the story along. I know in the next few pages, the ring is going to have some sort of significance, right? So you have to read like that. You got to know, oh, what's in my pocket? Come on now. Page 75, it mentions cheating. How does the author feel about cheating? He's like, oh, these creatures don't like to cheat. So the author knows that he can't have a cheating scene. It has to be done honestly. If not, the game would be over. So we have to have some type of trust factor with Gollum. Pages 65 to 75, The Hobbit, Chapter 5. Now it's your turn. What are you thinking as you read Chapter 5, The Hobbit? Follow Miss Hightower's steps, ask questions, share your thoughts, share your annoyances, your emotions. I can't wait to read what you have written.